A lot of people might be familiar with the role of community development worker, which is slightly different from a community resource worker. We have about 30 hours a week. The difference being that because we have less time, we're not full-time as most development workers were, it means that we are restricted in terms of the services we deliver to local groups, organisations and businesses. So for example, with regards to a new project, we would support the organisation in designing and perhaps finding funding for a new project, but we wouldn't necessarily be involved in running the project and further developing the project after it's gone live, as a community development worker might be. We would simply supply the resources so that the group or organisation had the capability or capacity to reach their objectives themselves. So in effect, the capacity resides in the community rather than a specialist coming in and doing it for them. It's supposed to be a cheap win-win for everyone concerned. Some you're involved with for a significant length of time, so that covers from the inception to design and funding phase, all those different phases. Others you simply are involved with for specific tasks, to promote an event or to find a volunteer or perhaps produce, update their brochure or something like that. There is the Eco Circus event, which is organised by Shaftesbury Transition Town, and that is I suppose an education event, a fun education event aimed at school children at Gillingham School. And what that involves is 3 or 4 days of events, theatre, circus, all based around the theme of sustainability, from Monday the 29th of March, Tuesday, Thursday. And the day's events will culminate in an evening show where the parents will come and watch what the children have created. So my role in that is really to support that event over the 4 days and prior as well. So this week I'll be going around Gillingham town putting up posters for the Eco Circus in various locations. I'll then follow that up with an email to various organisations and groups to let them know that the event's happening. And I will be talking to various suppliers to see if anyone is interested in donating or sponsoring the event. And on the day of the events, I'll be present after the evening performance, and I will probably just give a short talk to ask if anybody is interested in staying behind to discuss Transition Town issues, perhaps with a view to forming a Gillingham Transition Town group. So the two main projects I'm involved with at the moment are the Gillingham Town Design Statement, which is a document, a community-led document to do with really trying to give a clear idea of what the Gillingham community might want to see in terms of the natural and built environment around Gillingham. It's a very important document because it has legal standing within the planning application process, particularly where the document, which is called the Town Design Statement, is adopted by North Dorset District Council as a supplementary planning document, which means planning officers then have to refer to it when they are considering new planning applications. So that's something that's very important for the future, 5, 10, 15 years down the line, particularly given the projected or expected growth in housing and other developments that are expected to hit Gillingham. Going alongside that, I suppose, is also the town plan. which is another community-led planning document. That it has a sort of wider brief, and it sits alongside the town design statement. It doesn't have the same legal standing in that it can't be adopted into the planning process, but it does give clear indications to the planners and to the council concerned and all the other legal and statutory organisations what the community want for themselves in terms of environment, employment, young people, older people, and those themes. If you're concerned about a local issue and you want to take up a local issue of concern, say the number of houses planned for your area, development-wise, whether you might want to look into starting a community group or charity, or whether you have concerns about how your organisation is running in terms of policies, health and safety issues. Perhaps you might wish to update your articles or perhaps change the type of organisation you are. There are some very interesting new formats. For example, a charitable company limited by guarantee, a group might want to incorporate, so we deal with those sorts of issues as well. Plan a community activity, event or project. Consult and involve everyone, very important for groups to keep checking that what they're doing is relevant to their community, and we can help with those sorts of consultations. And also with consultations in terms of commenting on what the district and county councils are planning and the town councils. So we can also explain those structures and plans to groups and help them link into their activity into any of those themes, and also plug them into consultations that go concerning their area. For example, the Gillingham voluntary car link scheme is very helpful in consulting on, say, issues concerning transport, as our Gillingham Seniors Forum. So we can sort of help to make your views heard. They might not, you might not get the result that you want, but our aim is to help you know what you can do in order to achieve what you'd like to. In this age of austerity, help your group link and network with other groups as well. So North Dorset is a very special model for community planning, in that I suppose community planning at the governmental, at the national level, is trying to find ways in which communities can send plans upwards or objectives or desires upwards. North Dorset has taken a more community-led approach where, rather than going for sort of geographical boundaries, they've gone for community partnerships where town councils, parishes create voluntary community partnerships, and they create all the community-led planning documents like town plans, parish plans, village plans, town design statements, etc. And they sponsor a lot of the community projects. So in Gillingham there would be the Riversmeet Leisure Centre, for example, or the Gillingham Job Club, which is a new one. This is all part of a national strategy which, because of the change in government, is really on hold at the moment. There are several plans, for example, North Dorset's local plan for the whole area, which says what the district council aims to do for employment, for housing, for transport, for young people, for old. These are all very detailed plans which are currently on hold because we don't know what approach in detail the coalition government will take. In the last North Dorset local-wide plan, there are plans to build about 2,300 houses in total in Gillingham and the surrounding area, and that's in phases over a number of years. I think there are about 93 planned for the first phase. So what will happen to this plan, we do not know, and North Dorset District Council doesn't really know until the government announces far more detailed plans. I suppose those new directives will be issued under the banner of the big society localism. A number of funds have been stopped, like the Dorset Strategic Partnership, for example, which was one way in which the community plans were being delivered. The funding for that has been stopped, but we have no idea in terms of funding for community type projects where that'll come from in the long run. So I don't know, I'm afraid. I have to be honest and say we're still waiting to hear about specific funding streams and programs.